All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle a question that I think gets to the very heart of faith and spirituality, and it was all sparked by a really personal story from Ramadan. The question is this: what is really driving us when we worship? Is it love or is it fear?
So, get this. This quote comes from someone talking about why they performed those long, special prayers during Ramadan. And they were brutally honest about it. They said, I didn't go because I felt some deep spiritual calling, not out of devotion. The only reason? Guilt. Just this heavy, sinking feeling that if they didn't do it, they'd be doing something terribly wrong. And that one story just blows the whole thing wide open, right? It raises a question that I think so many of us, no matter what we believe, have probably asked ourselves. When we perform our spiritual practices, whatever they are, is it coming from a real place of connection? Or are we just, checking the boxes, just going through the motions because we're scared of what might happen if we don't?
Okay, so the source material we're digging into today actually lays out two completely different ways of looking at this. It calls one the path of folk religion and the other the path of true religion. Let's see what that really means.
So here's the breakdown. And the contrast is, wow, it's pretty stark. On the folk religion side, everything is driven by fear. You miss a prayer, you feel guilty. Why? Because you're trying to avoid getting in trouble, right? You're trying to avoid punishment. But then you have the true religion path. And here, the driver isn't fear at all, it's love. So if you miss a moment of connection, you don't feel guilt, you feel something totally different. This deep, aching sense of loss, a longing. It's like you missed a date with someone you're desperately in love with. That's a whole different ballgame. So that makes you wonder, right? If these two paths are so different, what was the whole point of all these rituals and practices to begin with? Were they supposed to make us afraid, or was there another purpose entirely? And this is where it gets really, really interesting. The source suggests something that kind of flips the whole idea on its head. It says rituals were never about gaining something new. You're not trying to get truth or acquire some kind of divinity. Nope. The whole point was for them to be a tool for removing stuff, to help you clean out all the mental junk, the worldly noise, the garbage that's already cluttering up your mind. I love this analogy they use to explain it. Imagine your mind is like a glass of muddy water. How do you make it clear? You don't pour more water in, that's not going to help. You have to filter out the mud. And that's what these disciplines and rituals are supposed to be. They're the filter. They're designed to remove all that extra stuff so that the clarity, the truth that was already there can finally shine through.
Okay, but let's be real. It's obviously not that simple. If these methods are supposed to be like this amazing filter, why do they so often feel, well, empty? Why do so many people go through the motions and feel like absolutely nothing is changing at all? There's this great story about a Zen master and his student. The student is all excited, climbing this sacred mountain, thinking he's going to find enlightenment at the peak. And the master hits him with this incredible line. The point he was making was so simple, yet so profound. The mountain has nothing to give you. The place itself doesn't have any magic. Any piece you find up there is only the piece you carried up with you.
And that's the absolute heart of it, isn't it? It all comes down to what you're carrying inside your head. You can go to the most holy place on earth, a church, a mosque, a mountaintop. You can perform the ritual flawlessly. But if your mind is still full of the world, all the stress, the worries, the to-do lists, then the method itself is basically useless. It's just an empty shell.
So this is all leading up to one single thing, one factor that, according to this source, is more important than the method, more important than the place, more important than anything else.
And that's the real puzzle, If just showing up and doing the thing isn't enough, and if the place itself holds no secret power, then what is the secret? What's the real path to that genuine connection we're all looking for?
The answer we get from the source is just one powerful word: niyat. Simply put, it means your intention. And this is the game changer. Your intention, your niyat, is everything. If it's not coming from a place of love, then any discipline, any prayer is just a mechanical action. It's empty. But if that love is there, well, the source says a person with love will invent their own new methods every single day. And someone without it, they'll find a way to corrupt even the purest method. That intention is the difference between a dead ritual and a living, breathing experience. But that leaves us with one last and maybe the toughest question.
how do you actually change your intention? I mean, how do you make that massive shift from doing things out of fear and obligation to doing them out of pure, genuine love?
Well, the argument here is that most of us are just hardwired to believe the world is a selfish place. We think everyone is out for themselves. And to break that programming, to really shatter that worldview, it takes something huge. It takes a profound shock. And often, that shock comes from witnessing an act of truly selfless sacrifice, something so pure that our cynical minds just can't find a selfish angle for it.
There's this incredibly powerful quote that captures this idea. It says that to deliver a truly meaningful statement today, it has to be written in one's own blood. The idea is that in a world this cynical, words just aren't enough. A truly powerful statement has to be backed by a heavy price. That is the kind of sacrifice that can actually change people's hearts. And so that leaves us with a pretty heavy question to chew on, doesn't it? If the real goal is to shift our deepest motivations, to move from a life of fear to a life of love, then what's the true price of that sincere intention? What are you willing to pay for it?